Welcome back to Good Morning Idaho. It's spring, so bust out those gardening gloves, right? Maybe not this morning because it is raining a lot, but you are going to be exercising your green thumb probably pretty soon. So these tips from the Home Depot can definitely help you out. And Fernando Gonzalez is joining us this morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Thanks for coming in yet again. You've been in here many times before.
Yep, no problem.
And we love your hat this time, we have to say.
Well, the girls dig the hat, I'm telling you.
More than just your wife.
Exactly. Yeah,
So
exactly.
You probably get hit on at the store a lot. Well, the Home Depot has these tips for some stress-free gardening. And we were talking just during the commercial break. Some people, the one thing that stresses people out most is
weeds.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
That's the biggest complaint we have during the spring and summertime is weeds. So before we even start our gardening, we'd like to have like a weed be gone, a weed killer that you go ahead and put in your garden, till it into the ground.
So that's in the soil.
Yeah, in the soil. You want to kill all that residual weeds that you have for the wintertime, during the wintertime. You want to make sure you kill all that before you even start gardening.
Okay.
Because that's gonna help you out in the long run.
And then you can block out other ones from growing as well, right?
Yeah. Then once you get that later down, you want to get a good weed block on there. Okay. Because you know what, the worst thing we get is people saying, I got so many weeds, it's hot, it's stressful to get be out there pulling the weeds. But if you get a good weed block on there, you're not going to have any issues with that later on.
You'll have
you'll lessen your issue.
Yeah, very little to deal with. And another thing that is important when you're out gardening is comfort. It is work. You are going to sweat and stuff, but there are things you can do to make your hands and your knees more comfortable, right?
Well, yeah, like you see right now, a good pair of gloves would always be helpful to have.
Those thorny weeds are the worst.
Especially now with the dirt, it's cold and it's wet. So if you're going to start doing it, in which you can actually start planting some cold weather vegetables, some lettuce, cabbage, broccoli, all that kind of cold weather, you can go ahead and start planting that now. But you really want to have a pair of gloves.
And this, I think, is one of the best things as well.
Yeah.
Comfort. It's all about comfort.
Exactly. If you ever had a little pebble or a rock on your knee when you're down there, it's not good. So one of these will always be great to have. So you can go ahead and not hurt yourself.
And really quickly, I noticed also you've got some of these tools here. This is actually designed, I thought it was a utility belt at first, but this is actually designed to go around the bucket, right?
Yeah,
to hold all your tools there in the same place.
One of the things that we have, my wife and I, we go do some gardening, and the first thing we do is go look for our tools. And we waste a half hour, 40 minutes looking for gloves, looking for our tools.
Now they'll be all in the same place.
Yeah, that's stress-free. It's all organized. You're good to go. You take your bucket out. You put it back in. Every time you want to go out there, you're good to go.
Awesome. And just a couple other things. You got to scare some of those birds away because they'll be picking at your fruit and your vegetables, right?
I learned that the hard way. I had a strawberry batch.
We had grapes when I was growing up. That's what they always ate. Yeah.
I had strawberries, and they just tore them up. So what I tell people that you got a couple options. You got this scary-looking owl that could scare some people, scare some birds away. You want to go ahead and do that. Or if you want, bird netting is also good. That you can actually use this on trees and on your garden too. So it's pretty good.
So it can be down on the ground.
It could be down on the ground, and it could be on your tree. So either way, you go ahead and use that bird netting.
Wow. So some great things that'll help keep you organized, and of course you want to keep the hose up nice and everything. We do have some more tips coming up from you as well, because this will help keep your stress level down. Some people don't worry about, hey, I don't have a lot of space in my yard. Are there tips for that? So maybe we're going to learn how to maximize.
Yeah, we're going to maximize and just make your yard pop.
All right. Basically. So we'll check back in with you in about half an hour. Yeah. Welcome back to Good Morning Idaho. A quick change up from the folks at the Home Depot, because now we've got some beautiful spring colors. You said, Fernando, you're going to make it spring in here.
We're going to make it pop.
I think you certainly have. Also joined this time by Kelly Smalley, another Home Depot associate. Thanks so much for being here with us this morning.
Thanks for having us.
We talked about some of the stress reducers. Now let's talk about people who maybe don't have a yard at all, or maybe they have very, very limited space in their yard. You can still have a garden.
Exactly. You can have a garden. Actually, we want to make it fun. We want to make it decorative. So what we do have is a lot of different type of containers, and this makes it easy for you to be able to bring it, especially now in the weather. It gets cold at night, and you want to be able to bring it in. So with the container, you got that convenience of being able to take it out in the sun, bring it in at night.
And different styles too. It can kind of match, based on the decor that you have in your home. Some of the wood, some of the, some of the more plastic ones, also
ceramic,
the ceramic clay, that kind of stuff. So lots of options.
Yeah, it pops. It all depends on how you want to, decorate your yard, your deck. Everything has their convenience to it, or their goods and bads to it. Wood is very good. It absorbs the water and moisture. It keeps the soil wet. Okay. Plastic's very light. You're able to move it out a little easier. And then you get the ceramic clay ones that are very decorative, but you lose it with the weight a little bit. But just as long as you want it out there, it's going to look beautiful.
Yeah, good. And this looks beautiful, this whole display. There is one mistake though that you say that a lot of people make when they're transplanting, putting these in these pots, right?
Yeah, they have a tendency to use potting soil, and we don't recommend
Which
the potting
sounds
soil.
right, but it's not what you want.
No, you really want to use a potting mix.
Okay.
It's something that says mix on it would be the best way to do it. It's a little lighter, it's fluffier, and the potting soil is just a little harder. You want to use that in your regular garden, and you want to till that in. This potting soil, you don't really need to till it, or the potting mix, you don't really need to till it. It's already soft, it already has your vitamins, it has your water retainers, has everything in the soil, so you're good to go with the potting mix.
So a potting mix, which is what we've got here. And Kelly, this is where you come into play. You're making your TV debut. I understand we're going to get a little hands-on here today, right?
Yes, absolutely. Just a little bit of how to take the plants out.
We're doing some transplanting here this morning.
Absolutely.
Okay.
The importance of not letting your plants go into shock when you transplant them. We have a Miracle Grow vitamin B solution that you mix in with the water, you put on your plants. It helps them with the shock value.
Okay.
Because when you take them out of the packaging,
they're just like humans, right? I mean, if you're out in weather that's super cold, I'm going to try on a pair of these gloves then and see if we can't get going. Now this is something, let's see.
We'll go ahead and just tear that apart.
There we go. We're going to separate those.
There you go.
I guess you just need to be a man of strength, right? There you go.
No problem.
So we've got these gloves, which we talked about last time, of course, because you want to keep your hands safe from from the dirt, but also from any, pokey stuff.
and as you tilt it out, you're going to want to just squeeze the package a little bit, pull gently.
And it should retain that same shape, right, when you pull those out?
And when you take it out, you're going to want to separate the root system a little bit before you put it in.
Just so you do want to mold it a little bit more.
Just a little bit down towards the bottom so the roots are able to separate and able to take hold a little better.
All right, now am I putting this one in here?
Sure.
All right.
Just go ahead and
And is it just as easy as you think? Just kind of finding a spot for it?
Find a spot for it.
And then putting it down to the level of the dirt, right?
Yes.
Is that what we're looking for?
Yes.
Okay.
You'll put it down, you'll make your hole, and then fill in gently with the potting mix around the edges of it.
And there you go. And of course you can do this. We've got several plants here as we start to wrap up. But we do have, I'm going to try it on this one, see if I can get this one without, damaging it, putting it into too much shock. So squeezing the bottom there, just giving it a small little tug, hoping this will come out. There we go. And then you wanted to separate, thank you, Fernando.
Yeah, no problem.
Separate these roots, right?
Yep.
Does it look good so far?
Yeah, it looks good. It's looking good.
We're going to go ahead and put this in here as well. So as we wrap up, one last final piece of advice that you would say, the most important thing for people who are transplanting their plants?
Just making sure that you're taking the time to not crush the plants and get them in there nice and gently and
down to that level too, like we're putting in there.
Make sure you get enough water in there after you do transplant. You want to go ahead and fill up with water, and like one of these containers is pretty nice because it does have a little water spot.
Oh,
right
nice.
Here, so it goes right to the root.
Awesome.
So all these little containers have different things to it, little bells and whistles, every single one. It all depends on your preference.
And you can find them all at the Home Depot. We sure appreciate you, Kelly and Fernando, for coming in this morning. Thanks for letting me not get my hands dirty in my suit as well. So some spring gardening tips. Enjoy the first day of spring, even though it is raining. Now,